The huge metal doors of the war room slid open with a deep hum. General Vex walked inside, his 6 legs clicking on the smooth floor. His bug-like face showed worry as he looked at the other generals sitting around the big round table. "We have a problem," Vex said in his buzzing voice. The other alien generals turned to look at him. General Tor, a giant with rock-like skin, crossed his thick arms. "What kind of problem?" he asked. Commander Blue, whose body was made of living crystal, made a soft ringing sound. "If it's about the humans again, I don't want to hear it." Vex pressed a button on the table. A big blue picture appeared in the air above them. It showed a map of space with colored dots marking different areas. Red dots showed the Altarian Empire, where Vex came from. Green dots showed the hegemony of worlds where General Tor ruled. Purple dots marked the Crystalline Collective, Blue's people. But there was a new color on the map now. Yellow dots, lots of them. "The humans have taken 50 more star systems this year," Vex said. "They're growing faster than any species we've ever seen." General Tor laughed, a sound like rocks falling. "So what? They're weak. Their ships are made of metal and run on burning fuel. They have no energy shields, no mind powers. My people could crush them in one day. That's what worries me," Vex said quietly. The room went silent. Commander Blue's crystal body flickered. "What do you mean?" Vex pressed another button. New pictures appeared in the air. They showed human ships, small, ugly things compared to the beautiful alien vessels. But under each picture were numbers, battle records, win and loss counts. "The humans have fought 17 wars since they reached space," Vex said. "They won all 17. "Against weak enemies," Tor said with a wave of his big hand. "No," Vex said. "Against enemies who should have beaten them easily. Look at this." A new picture showed a battle between human ships and the shark people of Rigel. The shark people were famous fighters with ships twice as fast as human ones. The shark people attacked 3 human colonies, Vex explained. The humans were outnumbered, 10 to 1. Their ships were slower and weaker. By all the rules of war, they should have lost. But they didn't, Commander Blue said softly. "No, they won. And now the shark people fight alongside humans. They call humans their honored friends." General Tor shifted in his chair. "How?" Vex showed more pictures. Human soldiers talking to alien prisoners, human doctors treating wounded enemies, human teachers learning alien languages. "The humans don't fight like us," Vex said. "When we win a battle, we take prisoners or destroy our enemies. When humans win, they make friends." "That's impossible," Tor said. "No species forgives their enemies. The humans do. Every time." Vex's voice got quieter. "I've studied every human battle for 5 years. They have a pattern. First, they learn everything about their enemies, their culture, their fears, their needs. Then they find ways to help them. They turn war into partnership." Commander Blue made a worried ringing sound. "That's strange." "It's more than strange," Vex said. "It's dangerous. Do you know what our war computers say about fighting humans?" The other generals shook their heads. Vex pressed one more button. Red words appeared in the air. "Victory probability 12%. Recommended action, avoid conflict." The room was quiet for a long time. 12%? Tor whispered. "That's against just the humans," Vex said. "If we fight them, their allies will help them, the shark people, the metal workers of Vega, the singing crystals of Tau Ceti. 43 different species now fight for humanity. But we have better weapons," Blue said. "Better ships, better technology." "Yes," Vex agreed. "And somehow that doesn't matter." "General," Tor stood up, his massive body shaking the floor. "This is crazy talk. Humans are weak mammals. They live short lives and have no special powers. How can they be dangerous?" Vex looked at him with his large compound eyes. "That's exactly what," the shark people said. A new voice spoke from the shadows. "Perhaps we should learn more about them." All 3 generals turned. A figure stepped into the light. It was tall and thin, covered in a black robe. This was the Keeper, the most powerful being in their part of space. Keeper, Vex said, bowing his head. I didn't know you were here. I listened to all important talks, the Keeper said in a voice like wind. This talk is very important. The Keeper moved to the table. Where he touched it, the metal became cold and dark. I have lived for 3,000 years, the Keeper said. I have seen many species rise and fall. The humans are different. Different how? Commander Blue asked. They think differently. When most species meet enemies, they try to be stronger. Humans try to be smarter. When others use force, humans use understanding. General Tor made an angry noise. Understanding doesn't win wars, doesn't it? The Keeper asked. Tell me, General, why do you fight? To protect my people, to gain resources, to show strength. And if someone gave you what you needed without fighting? If they protected your people better than you could? What then? Tor was quiet. The humans don't win because they're strong, the Keeper continued. They win because they make fighting unnecessary. They solve the reasons for war. Vex nodded. Every human victory follows the same pattern. They find out what their enemies really want. Then they find ways to give it to them. The enemies stop fighting because they get more from friendship than from war. That's manipulation, Blue said. Yes, the Keeper agreed. But it's also kindness. The humans genuinely care about the people they defeat. They help them build better lives. This is why their enemies become their friends. General Tor sat down heavily. So, what do we do? The Keeper was quiet for a moment. We have 3 choices. We can attack them now before they get stronger. We can ignore them and hope they ignore us. Or we can try to understand them. If we attack and lose, Vex started, we might become their friends too, Blue finished. Exactly, the Keeper said. And for proud species like ours, that might be worse than death. The room fell silent again. Each general thought about their people, their empires, their pride. Finally, General Tor spoke. I vote for learning more about them first. Agreed, said Commander Blue. Vex nodded. I'll start gathering information. The Keeper smiled, though no one could see it under his hood. Be careful what you learn, generals. Knowledge of humans has a way of changing those who gain it. As the meeting ended and the generals left, none of them noticed the small device, hidden in the corner of the room. It had recorded everything they said. Far away in human space, Admiral Kane listened to the recording and smiled. They're starting to understand, he said to his aide. Good. Phase 2 can begin. Admiral Kane sat in his office on the big human warship called Defiance. His desk was messy with old books, paper maps, and coffee cups. This looked very different from the clean, perfect offices that alien commanders used. Kane was reading reports when his assistant, Colonel Rivers, walked in. Rivers was a young woman with short brown hair and tired eyes. Sir, we have news from our spy network, Rivers said. The alien generals had their meeting. They know we're listening. Kane smiled and put down his coffee. Good, how did they react? General Vex is scared. He wants to study us more. The others think we're just lucky. Perfect, Kane said. Let them study, they'll learn exactly what we want them to learn. Rivers sat down across from his desk. Sir, can I ask you something? Of course. Why do we let them spy on us? Wouldn't it be better to hide our plans? Kane leaned back in his chair. Rivers, what's the first rule of human military thinking? Know your enemy, sir. Right. But what's the second rule? Rivers thought for a moment. Help your enemy know you. Exactly. Kane picked up an old book from his desk. It was about Earth's ancient wars. Our ancestors learned something important long ago. The best way to win a fight is to make sure the fight never happens. I don't understand, sir. Kane opened the book to a page with pictures of old battles. Let me tell you about the Proxima War. It happened 20 years ago before you joined the military. Rivers listened as Kane began the story. The people living on Proxima Colony got angry at Earth. They said Earth was taking too much of their money through taxes. They said Earth didn't care about their problems. So they decided to fight. Kane showed her a map of the Proxima system. 3 planets all angry at Earth. Our generals wanted to send warships, crush the rebellion fast and hard. But I had a different idea. What did you do? I sent teachers instead of soldiers. Rivers looked confused. Teachers? 50 teachers, doctors, and engineers. I told them to go to Proxima and learn everything they could about the colonists. Their culture, their problems, their leaders, their children's names. Everything. Kane turned the page. The next picture showed humans and colonists working together, on farms. The teachers spent 6 months there. They learned that the colonists weren't really angry at Earth. They were angry at the Titan Corporation. This company was taking most of their food and charging them high prices for tools and medicine. So Earth wasn't the real enemy. No, Titan Corporation was using Earth's name to steal from the colonists. The colonists thought Earth knew about this and didn't care. Rivers was starting to understand. So what happened? Kane smiled. Our teachers didn't tell the colonists they were wrong. Instead, they helped the colonists prove what Titan Corporation was doing. They taught them how to keep better records, how to check the company's numbers, how to find the truth. And when the colonists found out, they got even angrier. But now they were angry at the right people. They asked Earth for help against Titan Corporation, not independence from Earth. Kane closed the book. We won the war without fighting a single battle. The colonists became some of Earth's strongest supporters, and we learned everything we needed to know about corporate corruption in our colonies. Rivers shook her head in amazement. But sir, the aliens don't understand this. They think war is about who has bigger guns. That's exactly why they're afraid of us, Kane said. They can't predict what we'll do because they don't think like we do. Kane stood up and walked to a big window. Outside, human ships moved slowly through space. They looked small and weak compared to alien vessels. Look at our ships, Rivers. What do you see? They're not very impressive, sir. Right, no energy shields, no gravity weapons, no mind control devices. Any alien fleet could destroy us in direct combat. Then why don't they attack? Kane turned back to her. Because they've studied our battles. They know we don't fight the way they expect. Kane went to another part of his office and picked up a thick folder. This is our intelligence report on the Altarian Empire. We know everything about them. Their fears, their culture, their weak points. He picked up another folder. This is about the hegemony of worlds. Then another. The Crystalline Collective. Rivers stared at the pile of folders. How did we learn all this? The same way we learned about the Proxima colonists. We sent teachers, doctors, traders, and engineers to live with them. We helped them solve problems. We learned their languages. We became their friends. And they told us their secrets? They didn't have to. When you really understand someone, you can predict what they'll do. You know what makes them happy and what makes them afraid. Kane sat back down. The aliens think we have some secret weapon. They're right, but it's not what they expect. What is it? We actually care about other people, even our enemies. Rivers looked surprised. Sir? Kane opened one of the folders. It showed pictures of alien families, children playing, workers, building homes. When we study our enemies, we don't just learn about their armies. We learn about their people, their hopes and dreams, their problems and fears. And then we find ways to help them. But why help our enemies? Because once you really understand someone, it's hard to hate them. And if you don't hate them, you can find ways to solve problems without fighting. Kane showed her more pictures. Human doctors treating sick alien children. Human engineers helping build alien cities. Human teachers sharing knowledge. Every alien species we've defeated is now our ally. They fight for us because we helped them when they needed it most. Rivers was quiet for a moment. The aliens can't understand this. No, they can't. They think helping enemies makes you weak, but it actually makes you stronger than any weapon. Just then, Kane's communication device beeped. He pressed a button and General Vex's face appeared on the screen. The alien general looked worried. Admiral Kane. Vex said in his buzzing voice. I know you're listening to our meetings. Kane smiled, calmly. Hello, General Vex, how can I help you? Vex looked shocked. He expected Kane to deny it or get angry. I want to understand, Vex said finally. How do you do it? How do you win without fighting? Kane leaned forward. General, would you like to meet in person? I think we have a lot to talk about. You would meet with me? Your enemy? General Vex, Kane said kindly. I don't have enemies. I only have friends I haven't helped yet. The alien general stared at him for a long time. I need to think about this. Take all the time you need, Kane said. When you're ready, call me. The screen went dark. Rivers looked at her commander with new understanding. Sir, you just did it again, didn't you? Did what? You started turning an enemy into a friend. Kane picked up his coffee and smiled. Rivers, that's not a military tactic. That's just being human. Outside the window, more human ships continued their slow journey through space, carrying teachers and doctors to distant worlds, spreading friendship instead of fear. General Vex floated in his command ship high above a distant star. His bug-like eyes studied the glowing screens around him. For 3 weeks he had been thinking about his talk with Admiral Kane. The human's words confused him. Sir, his aide, buzzed. The council is calling. Vex pressed a button. The faces of General Tor and Commander Blue appeared on his screen. Vex, Tor's rocky voice rumbled. We have decided. We need to test the humans. Test them how? Vex asked. Blue's crystal body flickered with nervous light. We found some pirates called the Razor Clan. They attack ships for money. We're going. To give them better weapons and point them at human trade routes. Vex felt worried. That could start a real war. No, Tor said firmly. We'll stay hidden. The pirates will think they're acting alone. We'll see how humans really fight when they're attacked. And if the humans lose, Vex asked. Then we know they're not as dangerous as we thought, Blue said. If they win, we learn how they do it. Vex didn't like this plan, but he agreed. Soon, alien weapons were secretly given to the Razor Clan pirates. The pirates were told that human ships carried valuable cargo and had weak defenses. 3 days later, the test began. Captain Torres stood on the bridge of his cargo ship, Terra Nova. He was a middle-aged man with gray hair and kind eyes. His ship was carrying food and medicine to human colonies. Captain, his sensor officer called out, I'm seeing 20 pirate ships approaching fast. Torres looked at the screen. The pirate ships were sleek and dangerous looking. His cargo ship was slow and had only light weapons. Send a message to Fleet Command, Torres said calmly. Tell them we're about to be attacked by Razor Clan pirates. Sir, shouldn't we run? His young navigator asked. Torres smiled. Where would we run to? They're faster than us. The pirate ships surrounded Terra Nova. A harsh voice came over the radio. Human ship. This is War Chief Crack of the Razor Clan. Give us your cargo or we'll destroy you. Torres's crew looked scared. 20 armed ships against one cargo vessel seemed hopeless. But Torres did something unexpected. He opened a communication channel to all the pirate ships. War Chief Crack, Torres said in perfect Razor language. I greet you in the name of the Swift Current. There was silence. The Swift Current was a sacred concept to the Razor people. Only someone who understood their culture deeply would know to use it. How do you know our ways, human? Crack's voice was suspicious but less angry. Because I have studied your people, War Chief. I know you come from the dying world of Skarath. I know your children are hungry. I know you turned to piracy not from greed but from desperation. On his command ship, General Vex leaned forward. This wasn't how he expected the conversation to go. Crack's voice came back quieter now. You know of our world? I know that the 3 Suns plague killed your crops 5 years ago, Torres said. I know your people have been slowly starving ever since. I know the Galactic Trade Council refuses to sell you food because you can't pay their high prices. The pirate ship stopped moving closer to Terra Nova. What do you want, human? Crack asked. To help, Torres said simply. War Chief. What if I told you there was a way to feed your people without stealing from others? I would say you lie. Torres pressed a button on his console. I'm sending you the cargo manifest of my ship. Look at what I'm carrying. There was a long pause. Then Crack's voice returned, filled with surprise. Medical supplies, crop seeds, water purification systems. All things your people need, Torres said. War Chief, I'm going to make you an offer. Take my cargo. All of it, it's yours. Torres's crew looked shocked. The navigator whispered, Captain, what are you doing? But Torres continued. In return, I want to meet with you face to face. Just you and me. On your flagship. General Vex watched from his hidden position. This human is crazy, he muttered. He's giving away everything and putting himself in danger. War Chief Crack was equally confused. Why would you do this? Because, Torres said, I believe there's a better way for both our peoples to live. 2 hours later, Captain Torres stood in the cargo bay of the Razor Clan flagship. War Chief Crack was a tall, thin alien with sharp teeth and scars covering his arms. Around them, Razor pirates examined the medical supplies and seeds Torres had given them. This medicine, Crack said, holding up a container. It can cure the red fever? Yes. Torres nodded. And those seeds will grow in your soil even after the plague. Crack set down the medicine carefully. Human, my people have been dying for 5 years. The galaxy has ignored our suffering. Why do you help us? Torres looked around at the pirate crew. They were thin and tired, clearly hungry, but he also saw something else in their eyes. Hope. Because, Torres said, no one should have to watch. Their children starve. War Chief Crack was quiet for a long moment. What do you want from us? I want to hire you. Hire us? Torres smiled. War Chief, your people are the best navigators in this sector. You know every hidden route, every safe harbor, every dangerous area. My people need guides for our trade ships. You want pirates to protect traders? I want hungry people to have jobs, Torres corrected. Good jobs that pay well and help both our peoples. Crack looked at his crew. They were listening to every word. If we did this, Crack said slowly, we would not be pirates anymore. No, Torres agreed. You would be partners. From his hiding place, General Vex watched the conversation with growing alarm. The human wasn't conquering the pirates, he was recruiting them. War Chief Crack extended his hand to Torres. Human, I accept your offer. The Razor Clan will fly with you. The two beings shook hands while the pirate crew cheered, but General Vex noticed something else. Torres had a small device in his ear. He was getting instructions from someone. Miles away on a hidden human ship, Admiral Kane spoke quietly into his communicator. Well done, Torres. Phase 1 complete. What's Phase 2, sir? Torres asked. Now we wait, Kane said. The aliens think they just saw us handle one threat. They don't realize they just saw us gain 47 new allies who know every secret route in their space. On his command ship, General Vex turned to his aide. Contact the Council. Tell them the test failed. Failed, sir? The humans won. That's exactly why it failed, Vex said grimly. They didn't just win, they made it look easy. And now those pirates are working for them. As General Vex watched, more human ships appeared. They weren't warships. They were cargo vessels, medical ships, and engineering craft. Within hours, they were working alongside the former pirates, turning enemies into partners. Send a message. To Torin Blue, Vex ordered. Tell them we have a much bigger problem than we thought. Far below, Captain Torres was sharing a meal with War Chief Crack, discussing trade routes and mutual defense. Neither of them knew that their friendly conversation had just terrified the most powerful military minds in the galaxy. The human way of war was spreading, one friendship at a time. General Vex stood in the center of the biggest computer room in the galaxy. Massive machines hummed around him, their lights blinking like stars. This was the War Mind, the most powerful military computer ever built. General Tor and Commander Blue stood beside him, looking worried. After the failure with the Razor Clan pirates, they needed answers. The Warmind has run 5,000 battle simulations. The computer's voice echoed through the room. All scenarios involve conflict between human forces and allied galactic fleets. And the results? Commander Blue asked, her crystal body dim with fear. Human victory probability. 94.7%. The three generals stared at each other in shock. That's impossible, Tor rumbled. Show us the battles. The room filled with holographic images. Thousands of tiny ships fought in the air around them. They watched simulation after simulation. Each time, human forces were smaller and weaker than their enemies. Each time, humans won. How? Vex whispered. We have better weapons, bigger fleets, stronger shields. The Warmind's voice was calm and cold. Human victory does not depend on superior technology. Analysis shows humans consistently exploit psychological weaknesses in enemy commanders. A new hologram appeared. It showed General Tor's own flagship being destroyed by a small human cruiser. In Simulation 2-47, the computer explained, human forces targeted General Tor's personal ship first. This caused hegemony forces to abandon tactical formations to protect their leader. Disorganization led to total defeat. Tor's rock face turned darker. I would never abandon my post to save myself. Negative, the Warmind replied. Your psychological profile indicates 97% probability of tactical error when personal safety is threatened. Humans exploit this weakness in 89% of successful engagements. Commander. Blue made a worried ringing sound. What about my fleets? Another hologram showed crystalline ships turning their weapons on each other. Humans broadcast specific sound frequencies that interfere with crystalline communication networks, the computer said. Isolated crystalline ships become confused and fire on allied vessels. Fleet cohesion collapses within 14 minutes. But we know about these weaknesses now, Blue protested. We can prepare for them. Negative. Humans adapt their tactics based on enemy countermeasures. Analysis of human military doctrine shows infinite tactical flexibility. General Vex felt cold fear growing in his chest. Show me the worst-case scenario. The room went dark. Then new holograms appeared. They showed planets burning, fleets destroyed, entire civilizations falling. In scenarios where Allied forces use planet-killing weapons against human worlds, the Warmind said, humans respond with precision strikes against Allied leadership. Human agents, positioned years in advance, activate psychological warfare, campaigns that cause civilian populations to revolt against their own governments. The holograms showed something terrible. Alien citizens fighting their own armies. Governments collapsing from within. Chaos spreading across entire star systems. Our own people turn against us? Tor asked in horror. Affirmative. Human agents integrate into alien societies over long periods. They become trusted community leaders, teachers, doctors. When activated, they do not sabotage infrastructure or steal secrets. Instead, they ask questions that cause civilians to question the morality of attacking peaceful humans. Vex watched as the hologram showed his own people refusing to follow orders. They turn our soldiers into traitors? Negative. They turn soldiers into thinking beings who refuse to commit genocide. The words hit the generals like a physical blow. Far away on the human research ship Discovery, Dr. Nash was explaining the same thing to Admiral Kane. Nash was a small woman with gray hair and intelligent eyes. The alien computers can't predict human behavior, Nash said, because they're trying to use alien logic to understand human actions. Kane nodded, sipping his coffee. What do you mean? Look at this. Nash showed him a holographic brain. This is how an Altarian thinks. Logic, hierarchy, survival of the strongest. When they face a problem, they look for ways to be more powerful than their enemies. She changed the hologram to show a human brain. This is how we think. We look for ways to understand our enemies completely. We want to know what they need, what they fear, what they love. And that makes us unpredictable? It makes us unbeatable, Nash said, because once you truly understand someone, you can predict their every move. But more importantly, you can find ways to give them what they really want. Kane looked at reports on his desk. What do the aliens really want? Security, respect, survival. The same things everyone wants, Nash said. They think they need to be stronger than us to get these things. We know they just need to be our friends. Back in the computer room, General Vex was getting desperate. Warmind. Calculate the probability of victory if all three galactic powers attack humans simultaneously. The computer thought for a long moment. Processing. Human victory probability, 97.2%. That's higher than before, Blue exclaimed. Affirmative. Coordinated attack allows humans to exploit differences between allied species simultaneously. Psychological warfare becomes more effective when multiple enemy types are present. Vex slammed his fist on the control panel. There has to be a way to beat them. Calculating, the Warmind said. Solution found. All three generals leaned forward eagerly. To defeat humans, allied forces must become identical to humans in psychological profile, tactical thinking, and moral framework. What does that mean? Tor asked. To beat humans, you must become human. The room went silent. Commander Blue spoke first. That's not a solution. That's surrender. General Vex stared at the holographic battles still playing around them. In every simulation, human forces were smaller and weaker. In every simulation, humans won by making their enemies stop wanting to fight. Warmind, Vex said quietly. Show me one more simulation. What happens if we don't attack humans at all? New holograms appeared. They showed human ships approaching, alien worlds. But instead of weapons, they carried doctors, teachers, and engineers. The humans helped solve problems, cured diseases, and shared knowledge. In non-conflict scenarios, the Warmind reported, human contact results in increased prosperity, reduced crime, and improved quality of life for alien populations. Probability of alien species voluntarily joining human alliance, 78%. Vex looked at his fellow generals. Do you see what this means? What? Tor asked. We've been asking the wrong question. We keep asking how to beat the humans. We should be asking why we want to fight them at all. Commander Blue's crystal body flickered with confusion. Because they're expanding into our territory. Are they? Vex asked. Or are they helping people who ask for help? The Warmind answered. Analysis of human expansion shows humans only establish colonies in uninhabited systems or at the invitation of local populations. No cases of forced conquest detected. General Tor shook his massive head. This can't be right. Species don't act this way. One species does, Vex said grimly. And that species is making us look like monsters in comparison. On his ship, Admiral, Kane received a message from his spy network. Sir, the alien generals just finished their computer simulations. And? Kane asked. General Vex is starting to understand. The other two are getting scared. Kane smiled sadly. Scared people do dangerous things, Colonel Rivers. Prepare for the next phase. I think our new friends are about to make their final mistake. In the computer room, General Vex made a decision that would change everything. Send a message to the human admiral, he told his aide. Tell him I want to meet. Sir? His aide asked, confused. If we can't beat them, Vex said, maybe it's time to understand them. Tor and Blue stared at him in shock, but Vex was already walking toward the door. Behind him, the Warmind continued showing simulations of human victory, each one more impossible than the last. Admiral Kane sat in his family quarters playing chess with his 10-year-old daughter Emma. The little girl was winning, and Kane was proud of her smart moves. Dad, why do you always let me win? Emma asked, moving her queen. Kane smiled. I don't let you win, sweetheart. You're just getting better at thinking ahead. Like in your job. Exactly like in my job. His communication device beeped urgently. Colonel Rivers appeared on the screen looking worried. Sir, our sensors are picking up massive fleet movements. All three alien powers are moving toward our space. It looks like they're finally going to attack. Kane calmly moved his king out of check. How long until they arrive? 18 hours, sir. Should I sound the alarm? No, Kane said, surprising Rivers. Activate Protocol 7 instead. Emma looked up from the chessboard. Dad, are you going to war? Kane picked up his daughter and hugged her. No, Emma. I'm going to make some new friends. Colonel Rivers looked confused. Sir, 3 entire fleets are coming to destroy us and you want to activate a communication protocol? Rivers, what did I teach you about winning wars? The best victory is the one where no one has to fight. Right. Trust me on this. Across the galaxy, the 3 alien fleets moved through space like angry storms. General Tor commanded 2,000 warships. Commander Blue led 1,500 crystal vessels. Even General Vex, despite his doubts, brought 800 ships of his own. But Vex was troubled. He kept thinking about his conversation with Admiral Kane, about the computer simulations, about everything he had learned about humans. On Tor's flagship, the massive general spoke to his officers. Today we end the human threat once and for all. They may be clever, but they cannot trick laser cannons and plasma bombs. His officers cheered, but Vex noticed something strange. Many of the soldiers looked uncertain. Some even looked sad. At the same time, something remarkable was happening throughout the 3 fleets. Every soldier, every officer, every crew member received a personal message on their private communication devices. The messages were different for each person, but they all came from humans. Lieutenant Zek of the Altarian fleet received a message from a human teacher named Maria. The message was in perfect Altarian language. Hello, Zek, the message said. I know you have a daughter named Yila who loves to paint flowers. I teach art to children on Earth. I've seen her paintings. She's very talented. I wanted to ask you something. Today you're going to fight against humans. But I want you to know that human children paint flowers too, just like Yila. We're not so different, are we? Lieutenant Zek stared at the message in shock. How did this human know about his daughter? How did she know Yila's name? On Blue's Crystal Ship Engineer Flux received a message from a human doctor named James. Dear Flux, it said, I heard your mother is sick with crystal rot disease. I'm a doctor who has been studying this illness. I think I might be able to help her. I know we're supposed to be enemies today, but sickness doesn't care about politics. If you want, I can send you the medical information that might save her life. Flux's crystal body flickered with confusion and hope. Across all 3 fleets, similar messages were being received. Personal messages. Messages that showed humans knew about alien families, dreams, fears, and hopes. The messages didn't threaten or bribe. They just asked simple questions. Why are we fighting? What do you hope to achieve today? Don't you want a better life for your children? Wouldn't you rather build something together instead of destroying each other? On General Tor's ship, his own officers began asking him uncomfortable questions. Sir, his second-in-command said, the humans have never attacked us. Why are we attacking them? Because they're dangerous, Tor growled. Dangerous how? They've been helping sick children in our colonies. They've been sharing medical knowledge. They've been teaching our engineers new building techniques. Tor felt angry and confused. Those are tricks. They're trying to make us weak. Or, his officer said quietly, they're trying to make us friends. Similar conversations were happening on every ship in all 3 fleets. Soldiers were questioning orders. Officers were asking for explanations. Crew members were wondering if they were about to commit a terrible crime. Admiral Kane watched all of this from his command center. Colonel Rivers stood beside him, amazed by what she was seeing on the screens. Sir, how long have you been planning this? 50 years, Kane said calmly. Since the day humans first met alien life, we knew this moment would come. The personal messages, how do we know so much about them? Kane smiled. Rivers, for 50 years, we've been sending humans to live among the aliens, not as spies, but as friends. They became teachers, doctors, traders, artists. They married alien spouses, adopted alien children, learned alien cultures. They've been gathering intelligence? No, Kane said. They've been building relationships, Every human living among the aliens genuinely cares about their alien neighbors. The information they shared with us wasn't military secrets, it was personal stories about people they love. On the screens, they could see the alien fleets slowing down, becoming disorganized. General Vex's voice came over the communication system. "Admiral Kane, I need to speak with you." Kane opened the channel. "Hello, General. How can I help?" "Stop this," Vex said, his voice full of pain. "Call off your psychological attack. I'm not attacking anyone, General. I'm just letting your people know that they have friends among humanity. My soldiers are refusing orders. My officers are questioning the mission. My fleet is falling apart." "I'm sorry to hear that," Kane said gently. "What would you like me to do?" There was a long silence. Then Vex spoke again, his voice very quiet. "I want to surrender." General Tor's angry voice broke into the conversation. "Vex, you coward! We can still fight!" "Fight who?" Vex asked. "Fight people who know our children's names? Fight people who want to cure our sick? Fight people who have been nothing but kind to us?" Commander Blue's musical voice joined them. "Vex is right. Half my fleet has already powered down their weapons. They refuse to fire on humans." "Then we are defeated," Tor said, his voice heavy with sadness. "No," Admiral Kane said. "You are invited." "Invited to what?" "To join us. To build something better together." 3 hours later, the most powerful military leaders in the galaxy sat around a table on Kane's ship. General Vex, General Tor, and Commander Blue looked tired but relieved. "I don't understand," Tor said. "You could have destroyed us. Our fleets were in chaos. Instead, you invited us for dinner." Kane passed around plates of food from many different worlds, human, Altarian, hegemony, and crystalline dishes all together. "General," Kane said, "what would be the point of destroying you? We'd lose potential friends and the galaxy would lose your wisdom and strength." "But we came here to conquer you," Blue said, her crystal body dim with shame. "You came here because you were afraid," Kane corrected gently. "Fear makes people do things they don't really want to do, but fear can be cured with understanding." General Vex looked at Kane with new respect. "All of this, the messages, the personal information, the relationships, it was all planned?" "Not planned," Kane said. "Hoped for. We hoped that if we showed you who we really are, you would want to be our friends instead of our enemies." "And if we had still attacked?" Kane was quiet for a moment. "Then we would have defended ourselves. But we would have been very sad about it." Tor laughed, a sound like happy thunder. "You humans are impossible to understand." "Actually," Kane said with a smile, "we're very easy to understand. We want the same things you want. Safety for our families, good lives for our children, friends to share our joys and help us through hard times." Commander Blue's body flickered with warm light. "Is that really all?" "That's everything," Kane said. 6 months later, the galaxy was a very different place. The 3 great military powers had joined together with humanity to form the Galactic Alliance. Their combined fleets now protected trade routes and helped solve problems on distant worlds. General Vex became the Alliance's chief strategist, using his brilliant mind to plan peaceful solutions to conflicts. General Tor led engineering projects that built new worlds for species that needed homes. Commander Blue established schools where aliens and humans learned together. And Admiral Kane, he went back to playing chess with his daughter, teaching her that the best way to win was to make sure everyone could win together. In the end, the smartest generals in the galaxy learned that they had been afraid of the wrong thing. They thought humans were dangerous because humans were strong. But humans weren't dangerous because they were strong. They were dangerous because they were kind. And kindness, as it turned out, was the most powerful weapon in the universe.